welcome to another episode of La Ventanita. I'm Carlos Frías, and say hello, Amy Reyes.
Hi.
All right, well, we're here for another episode, and as always, there's always something going on, something interesting going on, stuff in the news that I want to talk about, closings and some new surprises, and we got the sweetest guest in a lot of ways. What do you want to talk about first? So there were a couple things that were bouncing around the news this week and yesterday. What caught your attention first?
Well, for me, the closing of Nunzio's.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's funny. This is a restaurant out in like the western suburbs that I have heard about for years. I've not had the chance to go yet, but it'd been there for 48 years, which
That's
is
pretty amazing in Miami.
I mean, that is a feat. Well,
Yeah.
Versailles was there for 50 and they threw a big party. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like
Totally.
these guys were there for 48 and very quietly were this very family-centric mom and pop restaurant that's got this great story. Like this family in the 70s during like the gas crisis when like these when kind of the global economy was in kind of turmoil, they're trying to find a way to make their lives better. And here's this guy selling groceries out of the back of his car, and his wife says, there's I have family in New York that run a restaurant. Let's see if they will sponsor us to go to the States. So it's like him, his wife, and their 5 kids, and they all come to Miami and they open a restaurant. And almost 50 years later, it's like it made a career for them. Like their kids are now retiring.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the longevity of that restaurant. Those kids that came over at like 15 are now retiring.
So they couldn't find a grandkid that was like, yes, I want to keep on making the red sauce.
There's family restaurants are kind of like that. I think there's
Yeah.
either two paths. Family businesses, I think, right? Like either you go into the family business, or that was that one dream of that one head of household or whatever that lives its life. That's the length of that person.
No, it
and that's
pays for college, so you go on to do other things,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
That's kind of how it works. It's the circle of life.
Yeah, so I wrote the full kind of like a little obituary, a celebration of life, let's call it,
R.I.P.
for that
Nunzio's.
restaurant. Yeah, Rip Nunzio's. But there's also really good news, which is Miami has a finalist in the James Beard Awards. It's the first time since 2008, and it is Zach the Baker. Ba-ba-da.
Nice.
You a Zach the Baker fan?
I am. I like anything bread related. I'm, I'm a fan of all things bread, and Zach makes some really good bread. So the only thing about Zach the Baker is since I live way out in the sticks, I can only get his bread like at Whole Foods, unless I like actually make the long journey to Wynwood. But like, I love his bread, and anything bread related, I am a supporter of. And he got the finalist nomination for Outstanding Baker, so it could be the case that Miami has the country's best baker.
And what's interesting about that category is that, they have different categories for chefs in regions, like the best chef in the South. With this category is for everyone in the country.
They're like, everybody, this
Everybody
is
get
the
in.
best baker in the country.
It's pretty great. And you know what's cool is that you said you got your bread at his bread at Whole Foods, and he's had opportunities to ship his bread further, but it would require changing the recipe so that he could
was like,
add
"No."
stabilizers and basically preservatives. And he's like, we're big enough.
Yeah.
This is he's like, I'll ship my bread as far away as it will stay fresh.
That's
So
a
you can-
that's
so-
that's a good plan.
Yeah, so you can get it from like parts of the Lower Keys to West Palm Beach, and that's about it, And like he's living his best life, and I
He
think
sure is.
if we're lucky, we're gonna have him on next week's episode. So,
Sweet, we can talk about bread. I am all about that conversation.
bro, I'm a bread locust. If there's bread in my house, I will first only eat bread until that's gone, and then I'll think about having a balanced diet after
There's
that.
some weeks I'm just on the Jesus diet. I just have bread and wine, and I'm fine. It's Holy Communion all the time.
Leonardo da Vinci throwing some cheese, and it's like that's
Yeah, I'm
you're
good
remembered for the ages.
for sure.
And then, did you see this thing with Enrique Santos trying to make flan, saying that flan should be the state dessert?
Listen, so DeSantis has declared that the strawberry shortcake is the state dessert of Florida. And the people from the Keys had issues because they thought that the key lime pie should be the state dessert. But now in Miami-Dade County, we have a whole campaign launched to declare flan as the state dessert. And I personally think that this is the move because flan is delicious no matter what, no matter how you do it, it's just a delicious dessert. And what other state could like declare flan their national dessert? Like, I mean, their state dessert. Like, who else? Maybe California. I don't know.
I'm
But
here for it. I'm here for
I'm
the
here
flan
for
as
it.
dessert.
I support Enrique Santos, and I support the Todos Somos Flan movement. So I
Hashtag
think
todos somos flan.
exactly, Todos Somos Flan. I support this, and I think that we should all lend our internet support to the Todos Somos Flan movement for sure.
Well, I think we have the perfect person to both talk about flan and about baking, Zach,
For sure.
and to talk about her really interesting career. And our guest today is Cindy Kruse. So Cindy Kruse makes some of the most delicious cookies Miami has ever tasted at her Cindy Lou's Cookie Shop in Little River. But these aren't just any cookies, and Cindy isn't just any baker. She'd been working for more than 25 years as a pastry chef at fine dining restaurants, making the kind of desserts that you want to take photos of, for Instagram. But she decided one day that she was tired of working for the man, and yes, I'm sure they were mostly men, and she started making the kind of food that she wanted to eat, which cookies. And they were an instant hit, and now they're spreading to Cindy Lou stores across the country.
Oh
What?
my God.
So, bienvenida, Cindy Lou.
Hi,
Welcome.
everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited.
Oh, you're the best. We are so
No,
excited
no.
to have you.
Listen, a couple years ago, I think it was 20. When did he first interview in like 2018 or
2017.
Carlos comes to the office. This was when we had a physical office with this giant box and these cookies that were like the size of our head. And it was just like a feeding frenzy. Everyone was just like, oh my God, did you try this one? Did you try the lemon one? Did you try the Nutella one? Everybody was so excited about them. There's something super special about them because they're both like crispy and soft at the same time. And every single one, like every single different flavor is unique and worth eating in its own way. I haven't had a bad cookie from Cindy Lou's ever.
Oh, thanks so much. Well, before we get into cookies, I just want to mention something about Zach
Yes.
because I think it's worthy. And I love Zach. I'm so happy for him. So well deserved. I just have to say that 10 years ago, back in 2012, him and I started like the same way, like in our garages. He was down south, a little bit south Miami. I was in Coconut Grove. We both decided it's time to like bring something new to this town. And bought my oven, my mixer, went into my garage in Coconut Grove, started baking cookies for Panther Coffee. And he was doing bread for the farmer's market. And I'm just so proud of him. We both come a long way, and I love Zach. I think his bread is the best. And it's just funny how we both kind of started in our garages doing what we love, because it's definitely a labor of love what we do. It's from the heart, and I think that's what makes it so special and delicious. And it's been 10 years, and I'm glad that it's paying off for the both of us finally. And I just had to say that because I'm just so proud of him, and definitely a labor of love, which is where it comes in that they taste so delicious. I eat a cookie every day for lunch, believe it or not. That's
Well,
part
how
of
do
my
you stay so
diet.
skinny? How is this possible? Because
Well,
Cindy
I
Lou
eat
cookies are
cookies.
they're my cheat day activity because it's like, it's a whole
Well,
thing.
I don't eat a whole cookie, but I have to taste the stuff, and there's so many. So every day I decide to try something different, and it better be good because it's my lunch. So, and I am working. I am going to work on a flan cookie because not only do I love cookies,
What?
Oh my God.
I love flan.
What
Oh
kind of
my God.
sorcery
I think
is
you just
that?
broke my brain. Like it's my
Flan
mind.
is my favorite. One of my favorite: a key lime pie, flan. Definitely something chocolate, but flan. I'm a flan girl. I'm from Puerto Rico, and I grew up eating flan for breakfast. And I'm definitely going to incorporate that into some sort of cookie, which I get inspiration from everywhere when I come up with my cookies. And this is an inspiration, like hashtag flan.
Todos somos
Todos
flan.
somos flan.
Todos somos flan.
Yeah, yeah. And so there, I just had to say my Zach story because clearly he's gotten there, and I'm very proud of him.
Well, what I love for you is that your story is like that. Is very grassroots. Like you started on a path, it seems like, where, we all kind of get into the hamster wheel, oh, what am I going to do for a living? And then I start doing this. And at some point, you decided to do something that was for you. But I'm curious, like, how did you get your start? Tu eres Boricua? You're from the island? What brought you to the mainland at what age? And how did
I
you
left the
start?
mainland when I was 18. I went to Boston University, and when I graduated for the hotel and restaurant school, my dad said I had to get a job, and I wasn't ready to get a job, so I went to culinary school up in upstate New York at the Culinary Institute of America, and the rest is history. I fell in love with baking. I ended up in Vegas for about a couple years. I worked for Wolfgang Puck there, and from Vegas, I bounced around a little bit. I went back to Puerto Rico for a little bit. I went back to Vegas, which is where I ended up working for a few people that really gave me my foundation, like Charlie Palmer and Charlie Trotter and John George. And that's where my philosophy of fresh is always best. Cookies have to be fresh ingredients, the best you can find. And I think that sets our product aside from the rest. We zest our own lemons. We juice our own lemon juice for our lemon cloud.
Oh my God, can I just say that lemon cloud cookie, I know that they existed in the universe before, like I was aware of them. I've had them somewhere at parties,
It's a life changer.
And then you have this lemon flavored cookie that's just like dusted with this confectioner sugar, so it's like a little cloud. And oh my God,
I took them to a party the other
day. The flavors are incredible.
I took the I went and got a box of cookies to take to a party the other day, and I proceeded to like eat them myself because they were actually a gift for the hostess. And I got all this like sugar all over my shirt.
As Forrest Gump would say, I ate some. I brought you cookies. I ate some.
Yeah, that was me. I was just like the cookie monster.
I love it.
Well, I'm curious about this. Okay. I did want to ask you. So often, and we just from what I've seen, is women are like our first chefs in our lives, like our moms, our grandmothers. Everybody has a story about their moms and grandmothers. And then in the restaurant world, so often women are moved into moved either on the line or into the pastry room. Like Michelle Bernstein has a pretty good story about how like she and Hetty Goldsmith and a couple other young pastry chefs were kind of like, it was like there was a little bit of a separation in the kitchen, from kitchen to pastry room. Did you feel any of that? Like, I mean, it turns out obviously you love pastry and cooking, but did you feel some of that like when you were coming up as a woman trying to like, make your bones and figure out what you want to do for a living and that kind of thing?
I never really felt that because I was never interested in cooking. I always wanted to bake, and I personally didn't feel it. I know that there was a separation between, you're a girl, you end up over there, you're a guy, then you move to the top. But it was hard back in the 90s, it's still male dominated, but it was very male focused, like they get promoted, you don't. I didn't really feel that because I just wanted to bake, and baking is where all the girls, I guess, were. And I didn't really feel that. It was a lot different than it is now. Like they could talk to you a different way and treat you a different way. And I'm not going to say I'm glad I grew up in that time, but it really instilled in me who I am. Like I could deal with a lot more things because I dealt with that. As unfair as it was, it made me want to say, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to, after making people happy so long, I want to make myself happy. And that really pushed me to do my business, to go work for myself. I knew that there was a lot more to this business than working for someone else and being treated that way.
Without naming names, can you describe one of your worst bosses in a kitchen? Like when you were working as working for other people, can you describe what it was like to work for
like put us there, like what, like for people that because I think a lot of people can't, especially if you're a white male guy, you're walking around, you can't imagine somebody like feeling like this level of
absolutely.
Oppression. Can you describe some of that a little bit?
It was probably my last job. I'm not going to say any names. It was the last job before I decided to go quit everything and go into my my garage, um, what time did you come in? What time? You can't leave now. You've only been here 10 hours. And then the chefs are back in the back smoking pot. The guys, um, they come in whenever they want. They leave whenever they want. How many specials did you make today? Well, two. Well, uh, like they required me to do more when everyone else was kind of slacking and skating. And it sounds like unreal, but it's true. Like, oh, what time did you come in? That bothered me so much because I feel like when you love what you do or you're a professional, you get more done in, let's say, 4 hours than they get done in 10. And it was just so, I don't like unfairness, and I don't really speak out against it, but I just leave. And that's what prompted me to just say, I'm done with this industry, working on other people's terms. And a lot of that happens. Girls get really, I don't know how to explain it, but like kicked around a little bit more than guys. And I'm not really sure why that happens, but I didn't want to put up with it anymore. So I just quit and went into my garage, which was probably the best decision I ever made.
And in that garage, like I know that you're the heart and soul behind everything, and you've had a man in your life who's been a partner to you both in life and in like helping you get to your dream versus these guys that were kind of over the top of you. Talk to me a little bit about like
Eric.
about Eric Page
Yes, yes.
and that partnership with you guys and like starting in the garage and making that dream come true.
Yes, he was a programmer for this company called Catered Fit up in Hollywood, and I said, "That's it. I'm not working for anybody else." He goes, "Oh," he was always supportive. He always knew that I wanted to do something more than what I was doing. In the beginning, he was in the background because he had his own job, and he was very surprised when I came home one day and I said, "I quit. I don't have a job anymore." And he was like, "Oh crap!" But okay, what do we do? It was always a we. It was never like, "Okay, see ya, you're on your own." It was always a we, and that's why I always felt like, even though he wasn't there next to me in the beginning of the business, he was always in the background, which is to hold me up, to hear my complaining, my stories, my this and that, and so in 2012 I went into my garage, and he was there helping me make. I was the dish. I mean, I was in the garage with cold water, no air conditioning, in the summer, making deliveries to Panther Coffee. He was my delivery guy. So he was really there from the beginning, but now he's here in a different. Now he's like in it completely. But back there, he was in the background, always supporting me, and that really gave me the strength to do what I did.
Did your family in Puerto Rico make cookies? Because that doesn't seem like a super Puerto Rican
Yeah, it's not a that's not
dessert.
doesn't seem like a Latin dessert to get into cookies.
No, no, they didn't actually. When I went to culinary school, I didn't even know if I wanted to cook. I just went there because I had a restaurant background, a hotel and restaurant, and I wasn't really ready to go out into the workforce. So I went to the Culinary Institute, and that's where I started falling in love. I fell in love with baking as a whole. And as I worked 20 plus years in the industry, the one thing that always made me happy was cookies. Cookies, for some reason, not cupcakes, not donuts, not cakes. Cookies always made me feel better. Like if I was having a bad day, I'd have a cookie, or I'd make cookies. I'd come home after a long day of work, I'd bake some cookies, and it was just something that made me feel good. And I didn't realize that people loved cookies as much as I did. And when I quit my final job, I said, I just want to bake cookies. I want to finally make myself happy, do what I love, and make other people happy, hopefully.
Well,
And
I do remember that when I first was introduced to your cookies, I had reached peak donut. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, you've had every donut already.
I had been like, yes, I've had every donut. I think I need to find another way to get my my sweets in.
Donuts are awesome, and
Donuts are great.
and cupcakes are awesome. I mean, people are killing it in the cupcake business, but for some reason, cookies to me, they just have a very special place in my heart. They're a classic, and that I don't think will ever go out of style. And the possibilities are endless. Like I said, I'm going to start thinking about a flan cookie. I'm going to incorporate it in there somehow. And cookies are just classic. They've been around for a long time, and everyone loves cookies. They make me so happy.
I think about there's always like when you start a business, there's always like that one big risk moment, and you went from baking in your house, which you're like, all right, my rent is covered, I'm in my house, I'm cooking only as many
What's
cookies
the
as I
worst
can.
that could happen?
What's the worst that could happen? But then you open this shop. It's on Northeast
Second.
Northeast Second.
Yep.
And there's like no other businesses on that street, like on that stretch. You're right next to the railroad tracks.
Wait, you're right next to like a vegan place though.
But
Yeah,
that wasn't even there.
That wasn't even there, yeah.
I mean,
It's a funny story.
it was just you. So you open there
In the
and then,
hood.
like, I mean, like literally in an area where people are not.
It was like
there's no
train
walking
tracks
traffic.
and then
Yes.
warehouse, like
And
a
cookie shop.
warehouse.
And on the other side of the train tracks, there's the graveyard. The cops call it the graveyard because
Right.
that's where like not such good things happen over there. But
Where bodies get found.
Yikes.
Good Lord.
yes, and here
Yeah.
I am, like I'm gonna bake cookies. Well, I have a very funny story how you found us. I don't know if you remember, Carlos, back in 2017. We moved in April. This April, we're going to be 5 years old, and we moved in April 13th. Our first visitor was Lee Schrager, who braved the hood to come say hi and take a photo with me, and I was so honored. And then we moved in. It was pretty stressful. It was my first spot. It was so many delays with the fantastic, amazing city that I love. And yeah, I have to say that just because they were helpful towards the end, but it was so stressful to move in. And we finally moved in. And 2 weeks after we moved in, they started digging up the sidewalk. And from one end to the other, like 3-block radius, the street was closed completely for a year and a half.
Oh,
Oh
I
my
remember
God.
that. It looked like it looked like there had been like a sewer main broken. Where they have to dig up the whole
Yes, yes.
street and sidewalk, and it was almost
We-
impossible to get there.
We didn't even know that was going to happen. But
Surprise! Your business is sinking.
and the
Hope
only
you didn't
thing
want to
that
sell
saved us-
anything.
Listen, definitely someone's watching over us because God must love cookies because at that time we were only wholesale, Panther Coffee. We had about 15 wholesale accounts at that point. So everything was going out. We delivered everything. We weren't retail. We did not, I didn't want to be retail. I just wanted to come in, bake my cookies and go home. And so at that point it was fine because everything was going out. Then all of a sudden, I think Carlos, you got lost around this area, and you made a wrong turn, and you ended up like kind of driving through, and you saw us, and you came in, and I heard of you, but I'd never met you, and you said I just kind of made a wrong turn, and there you were, and we're like, here, try this, have this, because we weren't retail, and all of a sudden you said, would you like? I'd love to do a story on you guys. I didn't even know this was here. Like we're in the hood, 73rd and Northeast 2nd in Little Haiti. And I said, I would love for you to do a story on us. And that's when the first article in 2017 came out. And we got so much business from that. And so that's my Carlos Frías story, how I met Carlos Frías.
Well, I mean, I have been paying attention to like different people that because that were buying your cookies for their things, Panther Coffee or
Yes.
whatever, and I was like, I need some cookies in my life. Let me go find these cookies.
And it was so amazing.
And they were just great. Though I have to put in a personal plug for the carrot cake, which I'm like, I would just be a fat kid eating cake all day with that carrot cake. I would just be spooning it, into my mouth nonstop.
I love it.
Not liking carrot cake is one of my bad food opinions. I can't mess with carrot cake.
You haven't had this carrot cake.
You have
I'm
to
had
sure.
this
I
try
cake.
it.
bet you it's really
Yeah,
good.
it is
But
good.
I think it's because of my bad food take on carrot cake has to do with my daughter ate a carrot cake, like cupcake once, and she got really sick
Oh
because it
no.
probably had bad cream or something like that. You know,
Oh no.
dairy.
Then
And
you
so
need to try the coconut cake or the chocolate cake.
I'll eat all the cakes, not
Amazing.
carrot cake.
What's your? Do you have a bad food opinion? Is there something that you get criticized for liking some kind of food that other people hate on you for? Mine is like pineapples on pizza. People like that's a
I
classic.
love pineapples on pizza.
I also yes,
It gives it a little sweetness. I need sweet in my food. Like I
because you
put
and I
granola
are
in my
Latino. Because we
salad.
got the Latin background, man.
Yes,
We don't mind that.
I
You,
love pineapple. You know, I don't think so, but I'm not a food eater. Like I love sweets, and of course you have to eat food for health and stuff.
you
But
weigh like 96 pounds. It's
Yeah,
obvious
I was
you're
gonna
not.
say you
no,
obviously are not a food eater.
all cookies. It's
She's
all
not an
love.
eater of
She's
food.
like cookies and cigarettes. Just cooking
That's
and
all I need in my
coffee.
And
life.
Just give
coffee.
me more cookies and cigarettes. Eric,
But
bake me
no,
some more of those cookies, Eric. Put another batch in.
no, I just love sweets. I even put granola on my salad because I need that little bit of sweet with it. I eat cornbread with my burger. I don't eat the bun. I have to have the cornbread because it's a little bit sweet. I don't know if you
You
guys
put
have had the cornbread.
burgers inside cornbread,
A
like as
cornbread
a
Yes,
burger?
bun,
Like a
a
cornbread
cornbread
burger?
burger.
no, I put the burger patty on top and then I like cut down on it. I'm
Like a
very
shepherd's
sweet.
pie. Like a
Wait,
Yes,
wait, wait.
That
What is
sounds
happening
amazing.
here? She puts.
She
I
puts
know.
the
I have to
burger,
send you photos. Yes,
the
on
burger
top
stacked on top of the
of
piece
the
of
cornbread
cornbread.
because I
Oh,
need
and
that sweet.
yeah. And
It's
then
so
by the way,
Wow.
the corn you make a cornbread there
yes.
and
Oh
it's
my God.
really freaking good.
It's got
Okay,
honey
so you'll
butter.
take that cornbread and you'll stick a burger patty in the middle of it.
Yeah.
No, on
Well, and
top,
then
like
that's
an
it. And then
open
I'll eat
faced
it with a fork.
an open faced burger is what
Yes,
she
an
does.
open faced burger.
Do you put any toppings on it, or do you just put
No,
ketchup and
just like that. The sweet and the savory is, and then maybe
so
some onions. It's so good.
that is almost like the most gringo version of an arepa that you could ever possibly make. Because if you think about it, well, no, arepas don't have.
No, she's
No,
doing it's a shepherd's pie. It's kind of a
Yeah,
shepherd's
it's a
like in that
Cindy
sense.
burger. It's a
It's a
Cindy
Cindy
burger.
burger.
No, and
it's a
then and
Cindy
also
burger.
in the mornings, like I'm trying to talk Michael's Genuine to do his pastrami on top of cornbread with a fried egg on top.
Oh
Oh,
my
Just the
god.
sweet and the savory, and Michael's Genuine pastrami is the best. Just everything at Michael's Genuine is the best. But I'm trying. I would love that combo. It's just the sweet and the savory. I'm a big sweet savory girl.
see, I remember talking with one of the chefs down here, Richard Hales, who had
Abs-
who owns Black Brick out there, and he
Yes.
was doing a barbecue thing, which I'm not sure he's doing anymore down here. He's in Tampa
Society
now.
barbecue. Society
It's
barbecue.
still he's still going, yeah, because he
It's
was
still
I know
going.
he'd moved to Tampa, but anyway, he was like the Miami palate is sweet. He's like, so my barbecue, I have to have something on the menu. He does the burnt ends that have like he makes the sauce sweeter. He's like because Latins like sweet things. They
We
like their sweet barbecue, sweet food.
I think that's why we do so well. Like people love sweets. People
Hmm.
love cookies, and of course we do a little bit more than cookies. That's the our we focus on cookies, but we do other sweet stuff. And people come in and they're just like, oh, forget the cookies. I want the carrot cake, or I want the cornbread, or I want the banana bread. And it's we've been so fortunate that people have had we've had such great feedback from everybody with the product. But I
So
think that's
so how much retail do you do at this point now that people are coming to you like as a destination? Because I have to tell you, I go to your shop anytime I go to Miami Shores to pick up or drop off my daughter at her friend's house.
yep.
And so like how much, and every time I go there's always people there. There, it's like you have to walk in, get your stuff, and get out because it's not like there's a little bar, but like it's not a.
And
So how?
we actually have a little patio in the back now that we share with the plantisserie, our vegan friends, our
Oh,
vegan restaurant neighbors. We created a little patio in the back, and it's super cute. And when the weather's nice, it's great. But now, this is what I say when someone's definitely watching over the cookie business. During COVID, our 24 wholesale accounts went down to zero because
Wow.
everybody closed, and we're like, oh crap, like okay. And
But basically, this thing that the wholesale accounts, for folks who don't know, is kind of like that's your safety net. That's your savings account, basically.
That
Like
was
the thing when people are coming in, this is the thing that brings in a
So
steady stream of
retail's
money.
never the bread and butter.
it is now
It
after
is now.
COVID. We have zero wholesale accounts now. Zero.
Oh
We
wow.
shifted during COVID.
Zero.
We weren't open, but people were calling. We were putting the cookies outside on the table. People didn't even come in, but they needed their sweets. And like that, we kept going. Go Belly, we shipped through Go Belly nationwide. We did this partnership with them to send cookies to healthcare workers. That kept us going as well.
Didn't that blow your mind that people were willing, I mean, willing to pay like this incredible sums of money to send cookies around the country?
Yes.
Like it was one of those things. Like people really wanted a sense of comfort, and to send family they couldn't see, like this sense of comfort.
Yes. And we have so many repeat customers on Go Belly. Even if the price is high, it includes the shipping, but it's high, and
Yeah,
we have so many repeat customers.
I sent
And
croquetas once with gold belly, and it's like the reason why you're sending it is because it's a gift for the person. Usually,
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
you're doing it because you want them to have the thing that they love.
yes,
But it's very expensive.
yes,
Yeah, but people lined up for it. Like that really kept you. I remember walking into your shop, like being on that outside part during the pandemic, and you had pink boxes, which all your cookies come in these pink boxes,
Yes.
stacked to the ceiling,
Yes.
getting ready to ship.
We were doing with Gold Belly, they wanted to send Cindy Lou's cookies to all the healthcare workers throughout the nation. We were doing for a week straight, we did 250 boxes a day, dozen
Lord.
box cookies that they wanted to ship out to everybody. And it was incredible. And a lot of people found us like that. And also we were closed as well because everyone was closed. But we were here, we didn't want to stay home. And we started baking cookies to keep our staff employed. We started baking cookies and just delivering them to the hospitals, like for all the healthcare workers, the fire stations. We were just giving them away. And that turned into people like seeing that on Instagram. And they were calling us saying, how can we support you? How can we want to match money wise what you're sending so that you can bake more and send? And it was unbelievable how the community came together during that time and how we stayed open. I don't even think we closed the day during COVID because we kept on baking for everybody, which brings me to how our partners, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit, our new partners found us on Instagram through what we were doing for the pandemic.
Yeah, tell me about that, because you've been this best kept secret cookie shop, right? Where it was such a Miami thing where people would go to your shop and they would post pictures on Instagram, whatever.
Yep.
But now you partnered with SBE, right? SBE is the name of the company that they basically have ghost kitchens. They have hospitality, they have kitchens, hotels, everything around the country,
Yep.
and you've partnered with them. So and basically you gave up some of the recipes for a little bit of cash money to get that national, right?
Yes. The story is kind of like that, but a little bit different. We were doing all this stuff for the pandemic. Once everything started opening up, we saw that we survived with no wholesale, and we have our shop here that people were coming to, which was amazing. So we decided to focus on our shop because the wholesale was really hard on us. We're a small staff and it's a lot of stuff going out, and for half price, we decided to see how it went with retail after COVID, and it's, thank God, and the cookie business, we hung in there, and we're only wholesale right now. We don't have any. I mean, we're only retail. We don't have any wholesale accounts. But happens to be last March, a year ago this month, somebody came knocking on our door. And they're like, we're from SBE, and we've been keeping an eye on you guys, and we're looking for partners to brand, to expand our deck. And Sam is very interested in you, and by Sam I mean Sam Nazarian. He's the big guy over at SBE, and I never really heard of them. I know the Faina, I know the SLS, I know Jose Andres. He was his partner. And I said, okay. So that we sat down for an hour and they talked to us. They sent us information. And what they were doing was they were creating their own brands inside SBE and trying to build them and promote them and grow them. And it doesn't matter what kind of money you have to build a brand. It's not easy. It's hard. And you have to have a following. Not only do you have to have the money, you have to have the product. And they found that with all the time and resources that they put into building brands, some of them were not working and it wasn't worth their time. But he has a lot of real estate all over the country, and he was looking for people to put in all these places. And they decided to partner with established brands, people who would be willing to go in as a partnership, 50-50 with them, to and grow his brand and our brand, and that's how that came about.
And what did that mean to you to be able to? I mean, it's one of those things where you're a classic case of an overnight success that was 25 years in the making, right? Like those things where you had been
Yeah.
creating your whole career and your whole life for this, and then you have this opportunity to really like cash in that token, that thing that you got that you won at the big wheel,
One of my favorite sayings is, sometimes it takes years to become an overnight success. And that's one of my favorite things, because everyone thinks that, oh my God, you're so lucky, you're famous. And I'm like, no, first of all, I'm not. And second of all, luck, the fact that they came and checked in on us, I think it's a lot of hard work. Yeah, luck of course has something to do with it, but damn, we've worked so hard for this, and 25 years in the making. Yeah, I lucky, yeah, but damn, a lot of hard work. And I still can't believe this is happening to us, because it was never really about being huge and growing, but it comes to a point where we had this little shop in Little River it's our heart, and it's so much heart and soul in here, and it was so hard to get to this point. And we really had no intentions of doing any other shops. We were okay here. It was, like I said, it was so hard to open this and run it because we're in here 6 days a week. And all of a sudden we had this opportunity to have our brand, blow up. And we wouldn't have been able to do it on our own. And these people came in that are complete professionals. And this is what they do. They take brands and they take them to the next level. And we decided to dive in with jump in 2 feet, because it comes a point in your career where I want other people to try our cookies. I don't want to just be stuck in the hood here, which I'm very happy here, but I wanted to get our product out there in a way that it's not just ghost kitchens. We actually have our own little shops with him. He's putting us in all the food halls. And
I was going to ask Cindy, how many markets now besides Miami get to experience the joy of your cookies?
It's going to be right now we have New York and Miami. Chicago is next month. Atlanta, followed by Atlanta, Seattle, and Austin this year.
That's all the good places, man.
That's all the good places.
That's where the cookie lovers are, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody knows this yet, but we're going to London at the end of May.
Oh,
London
they know it now.
was just put on the map.
They know it now.
The food hall is ready to go. We're just doing final touches. I'm working on getting my passport. May, and then at the end of this year, probably December, January, it's Dubai.
Wow.
So we're I mean, like I said,
fancy.
It's interesting that now that you're now getting your passport, and so like now this, after like basically being in a little cave baking all this entire career, now you're getting to kind of enjoy the spoils and traveling. I mean, you're going to be going to London, you're going to Dubai. I'm sure you're going to be going, right? You got to make sure the location is right.
Our deal was they obviously they're our partners, but we bring the concept, the recipes, the training, the energy, the pigtails. I don't have them now because I got my hair cut, but we bring that part of the stuff that's going to be branded and grown. We bring that, and they do everything else. So we partnered, and they've been amazing so far. We couldn't have asked for better partners. So we had to, of course, give our recipes. It's part of the deal. And but it's all very secure, very I mean, like I said, we're still pinching ourselves. They came out of nowhere, and here we are a year later, like with all these plans that people only dream about. I mean, I've been dreaming about this, but I never really thought it would happen. I mean, I'm up there. I'm not getting any younger, but like it's never too late for your dreams to come true. Um, but I didn't even include like the West Coast, like LA, Las Vegas, California, which is where they were based out of. They're based out of California.
So
They have all
let's say
places.
you go to New York and like a couple months after they've started going and you go there and you're like, "Yo, you guys aren't making my cookies right." What do you do in that case, Cindy?
Well, we've
Those are
been
your
open in New
babies.
York. We've been open in. I have a little like Cindy Lou, like ah. We've been open in New York for 5 months, and we're going to New York in about 2 weeks. We go to New York about once a month because that's probably been one of the hardest things to keep up with is make sure that the quality's being upkept and that things are being done to our standards because we're just so hands on. I get anxiety, like what are they doing? What's going on over there? So because of that, we found a solution. We get videos, we get photos every day of every single cookie that's baked. Just until they get up and running and have it to where we're okay with it. We get photos. We communicate with them at least 3-4 times a week. Um, and everything is going great over there. We have secret shoppers that go in and check on our product. Um, it's been challenging only because we're not used to not being in control of the situation. We're used to being in our little shop here in the hood, and everything that goes out that door is either touched, scooped, packed, packaged by me, and it's definitely been a learning experience when it comes to that. But they, like I said, our partners have been awesome, supportive in every sense of the way, and we're getting there. We also have a spot in Brightline that we just opened at the train station, and we have some awesome bakers over there, some awesome management staff over there that do things like as if we were in Little River. So that's
Cindy,
been
will you
a challenge.
will you talk to me a little bit about your background? Like like we started with you here at 18, but like growing up in Puerto Rico, like I always think like I had two good cooks in my life, even though where I ended up, I got like my mom was a great cook, my dad was really surprisingly a really good cook. What was? Did you have someone in your family that was like el cocinero or la cocinera that that really kind of inspired you?
Well, not my mom, of course. Moms always inspire you, but she wasn't a baker. She was a great cook, of course. She always had these huge Thanksgiving feasts,
She was a coquito
Christmas.
maker, right?
She was a coquito maker, yes. So
Oh my God,
she
Cindy,
had
you
some
should make
hidden
a
talent.
coquito. You need to make a coquito cookie.
We oh I do we do make it for Christmas.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
Yes.
a
How
kokuki.
did I miss
A
that?
no, a coquito cookie. We do make it for Christmas, so we'll have to send you guys some. She was very inspirational in the sense that she was very nurturing. She was very wanted everything to be perfect and wanted everything to be delicious. And in that sense, I get that from my mom. Like I just want people to be happy, and that's where this whole like make trying to be the best I can and doing the best, do good, be good, and put it out there is
What
one
part
of
of
my.
Puerto Rico are you from?
I'm from Santurce, which is around the capital of San Juan, and I moved there when I was one from the Bronx, New York. I grew up there. I left when I was 18 to go to Boston University. Um, I didn't really grow up cooking. My dad didn't cook. My mom always cooked, but it
So
wasn't like
you
I
were
could say, "Oh, go
so
ahead."
you were in the Bronx and then went to Puerto Rico and then came back. Like like your family was moving back and forth.
Well, they stayed and then they moved to Miami, but I went to college in Boston, then I went to New York, went to Vegas, went back to Puerto Rico. Yeah, I did a little traveling when I was younger, but once I started the business, it kind of ties you down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, you've been so good to spend so much time with us. I'm curious before we let you go to play our game. We do a kiss, marry, kill with food. We pick
Okay.
we pick three foods that we force you to make a decision on whether you want to kiss them, marry them, and then you got to kill one. So
Okay.
we have three of your cookies.
Okay.
And we know that you love cookies, so we're gonna put you in a tight spot.
Oh boy.
So kiss, marry, kill: guava coconut, lemon cloud, Nutella swirl. Cindy Lou, kiss, marry,
Okay.
kill.
I would marry the lemon cloud.
Wow, that's an easy one, huh?
I would kiss the guava coconut, and I would kill the Nutella. I mean, Nutella, everyone loves it, but it's not my favorite.
It's a crowd pleaser, but it's not for you.
Yeah, and that's getting back. I mean, there's something for everyone, and that's the beauty of what we do here. Also, like everyone has their favorite. Like you love the carrot cake, she might love the coconut cake, and I love the chocolate cake. There's something for everyone, so the Nutella can beat it. Nutella's going down.
Beat it, Nutella. You can get Nutella anywhere. Come
Yeah,
get this lemon cloud.
Yeah.
That's it. So I'm gonna have my lemon cloud, and I'm gonna have a Cindy Lou cornbread burger, and that's what I'm gonna make for lunch.
Come get cornbread. Go to Beltran, have it make your burger patty, and put that thing on there, and you'll see what I mean.
Gosh.
I kind of like that.
That will
idea.
be like a food scavenger hunt.
I kind of
Let's
like that.
start
idea.
at Cindy Lou's. We'll finish at Chug's.
Yes.
I like that. I like that plan. Cindy, thank you so much for making time for us. You are the best, and we will be by soon to raid your cookie jar.
Please do. This was so much fun. Thank you.
All right.
Bye,
Un
Cindy.
abrazo.
Bye, guys. Have a nice day.
You too. She's the bestest.
Cookies, dude.
Cookies. You can't beat cookies.
Cindy's cookies, the best.
I know.
I hope New York appreciates what they are getting in the form of these cookies.
No, they're gonna figure out ways where they think they can do something better. Probably.
No, yeah, they'll probably.
I love that she's like this little bright light of personality,
Yeah.
and every time that I've talked to her, she's like that. She's kind of like this very positive spirit. As a matter of fact, when you get cookies at her shop, she like hand writes inside the box a little message,
Dude, anybody who lives on cookies and coffee, like, they can't be
Eric, bake
upset.
me some more cookies. Bring me my afternoon cookie. And she's out there
Like, I'm gonna
smoking.
eat some cookies now. That's it. So listen, before we bounce, I
Yes.
have to give you the update on the Croqueta poll.
Dame el update. All right, because we're doing the having people vote on the best croqueta in Miami. Totally
We're still doing
unscientific
our-
poll where you win nothing.
Unscientific poll where the stakes are very low. There is no, there is no prize. Just the fact that everybody that you love has voted for your croqueta. So guess what, Carlos? There is like a sleeper candidate that has come from behind and is now in second place. Babe's Meat Encounter, the place where they sell the, what do they call it? The
poutine.
poutine. Yeah, where they sell the poutine. They are in second place behind Cow Bakery, which Cow Bakery seems like a pretty logical front runner. And they are both followed by Islas Canarias and El Carajo. And El Carajo is one of the best places to go in Miami to get croquetas in a gas station.
Yes.
I know they would win that poll.
A whole
but-
Spanish restaurant tucked inside of a BP station. That's
Yeah.
that's Miami right there.
That's very Miami for you.
for
So
sure.
the bottom four right now are a place called Well Fed, which I have never been to.
They have good bots. They had good voting bots, I think, because I have not heard of them. But
And then
I don't know
Dos
about every place. I don't know.
Dos Croquetas, Sergio's, and Versailles, they're all fighting for the bottom spot. They're gonna have to activate the fans so they can get to the top four, because next week we're gonna have the top four.
All right, let's see whose robots are the best. Whose voting robots are the best?
No, who's got like the most carpal tunnel from like just refreshing the browser?
Bruised fingertips. Well, Amy, I think that's a show.
I think so.
We're gonna be we'll always have some stories churning, and we'll have stuff to talk about next week. And like I said, I think we're aiming to have Zach Stern on the show to talk about his big James Beard moment.
Talk about bread for an hour. I'm down with that.
Yeah, we should just get some bread and eat it during the show. Just
That sounds like
Carb
a good
load.
idea.
all right, Amy.
All right.
Until next week.
Until next week. Take
Deuces.
care.